A Werewolf Shifter Romance, written by Amelia Hart. Chapter 1. Shadows of Yesterday. The scream that tore from my throat 7 years ago still echoes in my nightmares. Even now, at 23, I wake up gasping, my sheets soaked with sweat, the metallic taste of terror coating my tongue like poison. The memory never fades. It only grows sharper with time, like a blade that cuts deeper each night. I was 16 when I watched my parents die. Not from old age or illness, or even a car accident. They were murdered by rogues, torn apart while I hid in a closet, pressing my hands so hard against my mouth that I left bruises on my lips for weeks afterward. The sounds they made, the wet, horrible sounds that followed their screams, those are the sounds that visit me when sleep finally claims me. Victoria doesn't remember. She was at her friend's house that night, painting her nails and gossiping about boys while our world shattered into a million bloody pieces. Sometimes I envy her ignorance. She gets to remember our parents as they were, warm, loving, alive. All I have are the final moments when they weren't. Harper, you're doing it again, Victoria says, settling beside me on the couch in our small apartment. Her voice is gentle, concerned in that way that makes my chest tight with guilt. She shouldn't have to worry about me. She's only 21, barely out of college, and already she's spent years tiptoeing around my broken edges. Doing what? I ask, though I know exactly what she means. I've been staring at the same page of my book for the past 20 minutes, my fingers tracing the edges like I'm trying to memorize them. That thing where you disappear inside your head. She tucks a strand of her golden hair behind her ear, a nervous habit she's had since childhood, where my hair is a wild mess of brown waves that never cooperate. Hers falls in perfect straight lines that catch light like spun silk. You've been worse lately. I close the book and set it aside. Victoria's right, as usual. The nightmares have been more frequent, more vivid. Last week I barely slept at all, surviving on coffee and stubbornness, until my hands shook so badly I couldn't shelve books properly at the library. I'm fine, I lie, the words automatic after years of practice. Victoria's blue eyes narrow. She has our father's eyes, clear and honest and impossible to hide from. I inherited our mother's green ones, dark and secretive, better suited for keeping truths buried. Harper Marie Sinclair, she says, using my full name like Mom used to when I was in trouble. You are many things, but fine isn't one of them. Before I can respond, our Aunt Sarah bursts through the front door like a hurricane made of nervous energy and floral perfume. She's been our guardian since that night 7 years ago, taking us in without question when the pack elders suggested we might be better off in foster care. Sarah isn't a shifter herself. She's our father's human sister, but she knows our world well enough to navigate its complexities. Girls, she announces, clutching an elegant envelope against her chest like it contains either a winning lottery ticket or a death sentence. We have news. Victoria bounces to her feet, always eager for excitement. I remain seated, already dreading whatever has put that particular mixture of panic and anticipation in Sarah's voice. What kind of news? Victoria asks, her voice bright with curiosity. Sarah's hands shake as she opens the envelope. The paper inside is thick, expensive, with a letterhead I recognize even from across the room. The Silver Crown Pack, the most powerful pack on the West Coast, ruled by an Alpha King whose reputation precedes him like thunder before lightning. Alpha King Nathaniel Blackstone is coming here, Sarah reads, her voice rising with each word, to choose a mate from among the eligible females of our pack. The words hit the room like a physical force. Victoria gasps, her hand flying to her throat in a gesture of pure shock and delight. I feel something cold settle in my stomach, heavy and uncomfortable. When? Victoria whispers. Next Friday. Sarah looks up from the letter, her face pale. The ceremony will be held at the Grand Harbor Hotel. All unmated females between 18 and 25 are expected to attend. Victoria starts pacing, her excitement palpable. Oh my God, Harper, the Alpha King. Here. Can you believe it? I can't believe it, actually. Alpha Kings don't just show up in small coastal towns like ours to choose brides. They have their pick of nobility, of powerful pack daughters with impeccable bloodlines and political connections. Why would Nathaniel Blackstone come here? This is incredible, Victoria continues, already lost in her own world of possibilities. I need to find something to wear. Something that makes me look mature but not too forward. Elegant but approachable. Oh God, what if he chooses me? The thought makes my chest tighten for reasons I don't want to examine too closely. Victoria is perfect for an alpha king. She's beautiful, charming, and untouched by the kind of darkness that clings to me like smoke. She deserves happiness, deserves love, deserves everything good this world has to offer. But the idea of watching her leave, of being left behind with nothing but my ghosts and my fears, makes something inside me crack. You'll be amazing, I manage to say, and I mean it. Victoria has always been the golden one, the one who lights up rooms just by entering them. If anyone could catch an alpha king's attention, it would be her. Harper, Sarah says suddenly, and there's something strange in her voice. You'll need to attend as well. My stomach drops. What? No. Absolutely not. You're 23 and unmated, Sarah continues, though she looks like she's delivering a cancer diagnosis rather than an invitation to meet royalty. According to pack law, you have to be there. I work that night. I lie quickly. The library is closed on Fridays after 6. Victoria points out helpfully. I'll be sick. Harper. Sarah's voice is gentle but firm. You can't hide forever, but I can try. I've been trying for 7 years and I've gotten quite good at it. I work at the town library, surrounded by books and silence and the kind of peace that comes from being invisible. I don't attend pack gatherings or social events. I don't date. I barely exist, and that's exactly how I like it. The thought of standing in a room full of hopeful females, all competing for the attention of an alpha whose power I can already feel pressing against my consciousness like storm clouds on the horizon, makes my skin crawl. I won't do it, I say, standing abruptly. Find someone else to be your sacrificial lamb. I head for my bedroom, but Victoria's voice stops me at the door. Harper, wait. Her tone is different now, softer. I know you're scared. I know crowds are hard for you, but maybe this could be good. Maybe it's time to start living again. I turn to look at her, this sister who has spent years walking on eggshells around my trauma, who has never once complained about the way my fears have shaped both our lives. She's looking at me with such hope, such love, that it physically hurts. I'll think about it, I whisper, though we all know I won't. In my room, I close the door and lean against it, listening to the muffled sounds of Victoria's excitement and Sarah's worried murmurings. Outside my window, the sun is setting over our small town, painting everything gold and peaceful, but I can feel it already, like electricity in the air before a storm. Change is coming, whether I want it or not, and something tells me that next Friday night will be the end of the quiet life I've built from the ashes of my broken childhood. I just hope I'm strong enough to survive whatever comes next. If you're enjoying Harper's story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more werewolf romance stories. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Are you Team Nathaniel, or do you think Harper should run? And if you see the hype button when you like the video, please click it. It helps the channel tremendously. Now, let's see what happens when the Alpha King makes his grand entrance. Chapter 2. The King's Choice. The Grand Harbor Hotel transforms into something from a fairy tale on Friday night. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbows across marble floors, and the air hums with nervous energy and expensive perfume. Every eligible female from 3 neighboring packs fills the ballroom, dressed in their finest gowns, hoping to catch the eye of a king. I shouldn't be here. The thought repeats in my mind like a mantra as I stand pressed against the far wall, wearing the only formal dress I own. A simple black number that Victoria insisted made my eyes look mysterious and alluring. I feel neither mysterious nor alluring. I feel like prey hiding among predators. Victoria glows beside me in a stunning blue gown that matches her eyes perfectly. She's radiant, confident, everything an Alpha King should want in a mate. Several other females have already complimented her dress, her hair, her chances. She accepts their praise gracefully, but I can see the tension in her shoulders, the way her fingers worry the small clutch purse in her hands. "He's here," someone whispers near the entrance, and the entire room falls silent. The double doors open, and Alpha King Nathaniel Blackstone enters like he owns not just this room, but the entire world. My breath catches in my throat, despite every intention to remain unaffected. He's nothing like I expected, and everything I feared. At 33, he carries himself with the kind of authority that makes grown men bow their heads, and strong women lose their ability to form coherent thoughts. His black hair is perfectly styled, framing a face that could have been carved from granite by an artist who specialized in masculine perfection. But it's his eyes that steal my ability to breathe. Amber like liquid fire, scanning the room with predatory intensity. His beard is trimmed close to his jaw, adding to the aura of controlled power that radiates from him like heat from a forge. He's tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a perfectly tailored black suit that probably costs more than I make in 6 months. Everything about him screams dominance, from the way he moves to the way others instinctively create space around him. He's followed by an entourage of equally impressive men, but I barely notice them. My entire focus has narrowed to this one man who seems to command gravity itself. My God! Victoria breathes beside me. He's gorgeous. She's right. Nathaniel Blackstone is devastatingly handsome in the way that makes smart women do stupid things. But there's something else. Something that makes my skin prickle with awareness I don't want to acknowledge. Power. Raw, untamed, barely leashed power that makes my wolf whimper and hide despite the fact that she's been dormant since that night 7 years ago. Elder Morrison, our pack's leader, steps forward to greet the Alpha King. The formal introductions begin, but I tune them out, focusing instead on finding the nearest exit. I can slip out now, before the actual ceremony begins. No one will notice one less candidate among so many hopefuls. But as I start to edge toward the door, something stops me cold. The Alpha King's head turns in my direction. Our eyes meet across the crowded ballroom, and the world tilts off its axis. Time stops. Sound fades. The only thing that exists is the connection that snaps between us like a live wire, electric and undeniable, and absolutely terrifying. His amber eyes widen slightly, and I see something flicker across his perfect features. Surprise, recognition, hunger. His nostrils flare, and I realize with horror that he's scenting me from across the room, somehow picking out my signature from among dozens of others. This can't be happening. I break eye contact and push deeper into the crowd, using other women as shields. My heart pounds so hard I'm sure everyone can hear it. Maybe if I hide long enough, he'll forget whatever momentary interest I sparked. Maybe he'll focus on Victoria, on any of the other beautiful, worthy females surrounding him. "Ladies," Elder Morrison's voice carries across the ballroom, "Alpha King Blackstone will now begin the selection process. Please form orderly lines so he may meet each candidate properly." The room erupts into barely controlled chaos as dozens of women jostle for position. Victoria squeezes my hand before joining the line forming to our left. I watch her take her place among the others, chin held high, spine straight. She looks like a queen already. I retreat further into the shadows near the back wall, hoping to become invisible. From here, I can watch Nathaniel move down the line of candidates, spending a few moments with each woman. He's polite but distant, asking their names, nodding at appropriate intervals. None of them seem to hold his attention for more than a minute or two. When he reaches Victoria, I hold my breath. She curtsies gracefully, her voice carrying clearly as she introduces herself. "Victoria Sinclair, Your Majesty. It's an honor to meet you." Nathaniel studies her for a long moment, and I can see Victoria's hopes rising. She's perfect for him. Beautiful, poised, from a good bloodline. Any alpha would be lucky to claim her. But after 30 seconds, he moves on without a word. Victoria's face falls, but she maintains her composure as he continues down the line. I want to go to her, to comfort her, but I'm frozen in place by the sick realization that he's working his way systematically through every woman in the room, which means eventually he'll find me. I press myself against the wall, praying to become one with the wallpaper. Maybe if I stay perfectly still, he'll miss me entirely. Maybe looking for someone. The voice comes from directly behind me, low and rough with just a hint of amusement. My entire body goes rigid as that unmistakable scent hits me, pine and leather, and something wild that makes my dormant wolf stir for the first time in years. I turn slowly, knowing what I'll find, but hoping desperately that I'm wrong. Alpha King Nathaniel Blackstone stands less than 3 feet away, his amber eyes fixed on my face with laser focus. Up close, he's even more overwhelming. I can feel the heat radiating from his body. Can see the slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth as he takes in my obvious panic. My voice comes out as barely a whisper. I clear my throat and try again. I was just leaving. Were you? He steps closer, and I have nowhere to go with the wall at my back. That would be a shame. We haven't been properly introduced. Harper Sinclair. I manage, lifting my chin in a show of defiance I don't feel. Victoria's sister. Harper, he repeats, and something about the way he says my name makes my knees weak. Beautiful name for a beautiful woman. Heat floods my cheeks. Victoria is the one you should be talking to. She's perfect for... I'm not interested in Victoria. The words hit me like a physical blow. Around us, I can feel the attention of the entire ballroom shifting in our direction. Conversations die as people turn to stare at the spectacle of their alpha king, ignoring dozens of suitable candidates to corner the pack outcast against a wall. You should be, I insist, desperation creeping into my voice. She's everything you could want in a mate. Beautiful, intelligent, kind. Harper. The way he says my name stops my rambling mid-sentence. Look at me. Against my better judgment, I meet his eyes. The intensity I find there nearly brings me to my knees. He's looking at me like I'm the only person in the room. Like I'm something precious and rare that he's been searching for his entire life. You're mine, he says simply, his voice carrying clearly across the now silent ballroom. The words hit the assembled crowd like a bomb. Gasps echo from every corner of the room. I hear someone sob. Probably one of the rejected candidates. But all of that fades into background noise as the full weight of what he's just declared settles over me. Mine. The Alpha King of the most powerful pack on the West Coast has just publicly claimed me, not Victoria, with her golden beauty and perfect bloodline. Not any of the dozens of worthy females who would kill for this opportunity. Me. Harper Sinclair. The broken girl who can barely leave her apartment without having a panic attack. No, I whisper, shaking my head. You don't understand. I can't be. But Nathaniel steps even closer. Close enough that I can see the gold flecks in his amber eyes. Close enough to feel his breath against my face when he speaks. You're mine, Harper Sinclair. He repeats, his voice a low growl that seems to vibrate through my bones. And I always protect what belongs to me. The world spins around me. Too many eyes, too much attention, too much everything. The walls feel like they're closing in, and my carefully constructed defenses crumble like sand castles in a hurricane. I do the only thing I can think of. I run. Chapter 3. Flight and Confrontation. I don't stop running until I reach my apartment, my lungs burning and my heart hammering against my ribs like a caged bird desperate for freedom. The elevator seems to take forever, each second stretching into eternity, while I imagine Nathaniel Blackstone's voice echoing through the hotel lobby, calling after me with that same commanding tone that made my knees weak. You're mine. The words follow me into my bedroom, where I collapse onto my bed still wearing the black dress that now feels like a costume from someone else's life. I bury my face in my pillow, trying to block out the memory of amber eyes and the way every person in that ballroom turned to stare when the Alpha King chose the damaged goods over perfection. My phone buzzes incessantly on the nightstand. Text after text from Victoria, from Aunt Sarah, probably from half the pack by now. I ignore them all, too mortified to face the questions I know are coming. Too terrified to admit that for one impossible moment, when Nathaniel looked at me like I was something worth claiming, I actually felt it too. The mate bond. The thing I've read about in books but never thought I'd experience. The instant recognition. The pull that defies logic and reason. It hit me like lightning when our eyes met. A connection so profound it shook me to my very core. But Alpha Kings don't mate with broken girls who work in libraries and have panic attacks in crowded rooms. They certainly don't mate with women whose parents were murdered by rogues, who carry trauma like a second shadow everywhere they go. He made a mistake. He had to have made a mistake. I'm still trying to convince myself of this when I hear the front door open. Victoria's voice carries down the hallway, high with stress and confusion. Harper? Harper, where are you? I consider pretending to be asleep. But Victoria knows me too well. She appears in my doorway moments later, still gorgeous in her blue gown despite the worry lines creasing her forehead. Everyone's talking about what happened, she says, settling on the edge of my bed. The entire ballroom went crazy after you left. People are saying the Alpha King actually followed you to the parking lot. My stomach drops. He did what? Mrs. Chen saw him leave right after you did. He came back 10 minutes later looking like he wanted to tear something apart. Victoria's voice is carefully neutral, but I can hear the hurt underneath. Harper, what happened in there? Why did he choose you? The question hits me like a slap. Not because Victoria is being cruel. She's not. She's genuinely confused, and she has every right to be. Everyone expected him to choose her. Hell, I expected him to choose her. I don't know. I whisper. And it's the truth. I was trying to hide from the whole thing. I didn't even want to be there. But he found you anyway. Victoria's fingers twist in her lap, a nervous habit from childhood. And the way he looked at you, Harper, I've never seen anything like it. Like you were the only person in the room. Guilt twists in my chest like a knife. Victoria has dreamed of finding her mate since we were teenagers. She's watched romantic movies and read romance novels and planned the perfect wedding in her head 1,000 times. She deserved this moment, this fairy tale. Not me. Victoria, I'm so sorry. If I could change what happened, don't. Her voice is sharper than I've ever heard it. Don't apologize for something that isn't your fault. You think I don't see how you blame yourself for everything? How you act like you don't deserve good things because of what happened to Mom and Dad? Tears burn my eyes. That's not... It is exactly that. Victoria turns to face me fully, her blue eyes fierce. You've spent 7 years punishing yourself for surviving when they didn't. But Harper, you were 16. You were a child hiding in a closet while rogues destroyed our family. None of that was your fault. I want to argue, to list all the reasons why she's wrong. But the words stick in my throat, because deep down, in a place I don't like to examine too closely, I know she's right. I have been punishing myself. Every time I turn down an invitation, every time I refuse to date, every time I choose solitude over connection, I'm choosing punishment over healing. I don't know how to be what he wants, I admit finally. Look at me, Victoria. I work in a library because I can't handle crowds. I have nightmares that wake me up screaming. I haven't shifted into my wolf form since the night they died. What kind of mate would I be for an Alpha King? Victoria's expression softens. Maybe the kind he needs. Before I can ask what she means, my phone rings. The caller ID makes my blood run cold. Nathaniel Blackstone. How did he get my number? I stare at the phone like it might bite me. Answer it, Victoria urges. Absolutely not. The phone stops ringing, then immediately starts again. And again. On the 4th call, Victoria snatches it from my hands and answers before I can stop her. Harper Sinclair's phone. She says sweetly. I can hear his voice through the speaker, low and rough with barely contained frustration. Put her on the phone. Now. She's indisposed at the moment, Victoria replies, enjoying herself far too much. May I take a message? Tell her I'm coming over. The line goes dead. Victoria and I stare at each other in horror. Did he just say he's coming here? I scramble to my feet, panic flooding my system. To our apartment? How does he even know where we live? He's an Alpha King, Harper. He probably knows our social security numbers. 20 minutes later, there's a knock on our front door. Not the polite tap of a neighbor, or the hurried rapping of a delivery person. This is 3 solid, authoritative knocks that seem to echo through our small apartment like thunder. Victoria and I freeze in the living room, where we've been pacing and arguing about whether to hide in the bathroom until he goes away. But we both know Alpha Blackstone isn't the type of man who just goes away. Harper, his voice carries through the door, and I shiver at the way my name sounds in that deep, commanding tone. I know you're in there. We need to talk. Go away, I call back, proud that my voice doesn't shake. Not happening. I look at Victoria, who shrugs helplessly. We both know he's not leaving. And honestly, part of me, a part I'm trying very hard to ignore, wants to see him again. Wants to look into those amber eyes and figure out if what I felt at the hotel was real or just some kind of stress-induced hallucination. Against my better judgment, I open the door. Nathaniel Blackstone fills our doorway like he was made for it, still wearing his perfectly tailored suit, but with his tie loosened and the top button of his shirt undone. His dark hair is slightly mussed, like he's been running his hands through it. And there's something wild in his amber eyes that makes my wolf stir restlessly beneath my skin. You ran, he says without preamble. I left, I correct, lifting my chin in defiance. There's a difference. Is there? He steps into our apartment without invitation, his presence immediately making the space feel smaller, because from where I was standing, it looked like you were running from your mate. The word hits me like a physical blow. Mate. He's saying it like it's a fact, like there's no question or room for argument, like he's already decided our entire future. I'm not your mate, I say, but even I can hear how unconvincing it sounds. Nathaniel's eyes flash with something dangerous. No? Then explain this. He moves closer, and I instinctively back up until I hit the wall. He cages me in with his arms, not touching but close enough that I can feel the heat radiating from his body, can smell that intoxicating scent of pine and leather, and something uniquely him. Explain why I can smell your fear, your arousal, your confusion from across the room, he continues, his voice dropping to a growl. Explain why every instinct I have is screaming at me to claim you, to mark you, to make sure every male in 100-mile radius knows you belong to me. My breath comes in short, sharp pants. This close, I can see the gold flecks in his eyes, can count the individual whiskers in his perfectly groomed beard. And God help me, I want to touch him. Want to see if his skin is as warm as it looks, if his hair is as soft as it appears. Harper. My name is a whisper on his lips, and something inside me cracks open. Stop fighting this. Stop fighting me. For a moment, I almost give in, almost let myself believe that this powerful, incredible man actually wants me. That the mate bond isn't some cosmic mistake that will correct itself once he realizes what he's gotten himself into. But then reality crashes back, cold and unforgiving. You don't know me, I whisper. You don't know what you're asking for. Then tell me. The simple words hang between us, heavy with possibility. Victoria, who's been watching from the kitchen doorway like this is the best reality show she's ever seen, clears her throat. I'm going to Sarah's for the night, she announces. You two need to figure this out without an audience. She grabs her purse and heads for the door, pausing only to whisper in my ear, don't let fear make your choices for you. And then we're alone. Chapter 4. Sanctuary and Discovery. The silence stretches between us after Victoria's departure, thick with unspoken questions and a tension so electric I can practically taste it. Nathaniel hasn't moved from where he has me trapped against the wall, but something in his posture has shifted. The predatory intensity has softened into something that looks almost like patience. Tell me about the nightmares, he says quietly. The unexpected gentleness in his voice nearly undoes me. How did you... You have shadows under your eyes that makeup can't hide. Your hands shake when you think no one's looking. And there's a sadness in your scent that goes bone deep. His amber eyes search my face. What happened to you, Harper? I could lie. Should lie. Make up some story about insomnia or stress from work. But the way he's looking at me, like he actually cares about the answer, breaks down defenses I've spent years building. My parents were killed when I was 16, I whisper. Rogues broke into our house one night. I hid in my bedroom closet and listened to them die. Something dark and furious flashes across Nathaniel's features. His hands curl into fists against the wall. And for a moment I can see the predator lurking just beneath his civilized surface. The rogues? His voice is deadly quiet. Long dead. Our pack hunters found them 3 days later. I close my eyes, trying to block out memories that still feel fresh as yesterday. But it doesn't matter. They're gone, but I'm still broken. You're not broken. The words come out sharp, almost angry. You survived something that would have destroyed most people. That makes you strong, not broken. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Strong? I can barely function in crowds. I haven't shifted in 7 years. I work in a library because it's quiet and safe and I can hide behind books all day. What kind of mate is that for an alpha king? Instead of answering, Nathaniel steps back, giving me space to breathe. He moves to our small living room and settles onto the couch like he belongs there, like he's not wearing a suit that probably costs more than our monthly rent. "Come sit with me," he says, patting the cushion beside him. "Please." Against my better judgment, I do. The couch is small enough that our knees almost touch when I settle into the corner farthest from him. This close, his scent is overwhelming in the best possible way, making my dormant wolf pace restlessly beneath my skin. I became alpha when I was 25. Nathaniel says, his voice low and contemplative. My father died in a challenge from a rival alpha, who thought our pack had grown too soft. I had to kill him in front of 300 witnesses to claim my birthright. I stare at him, surprised by the confession. That must have been horrible. It was necessary. His jaw tightens. But you're right. It was horrible. Taking a life, even in defense of your pack, changes you. Leaves marks that don't fade. There's pain in his voice. Carefully controlled but unmistakable. For the first time since he walked into that ballroom, I see him not as the untouchable alpha king, but as a man who carries his own shadows. Is that why you're still unmated at 33? I ask softly. He turns to look at me, and something vulnerable flickers in his amber eyes. Partly. Finding a mate who can handle the violence that comes with my position, who won't flinch when I come home with blood on my hands, isn't easy. Most pack daughters want the crown, not the man wearing it. But you think I'm different? I know you are. He reaches out slowly, giving me time to pull away, and touches my hand. His skin is warm, calloused in places that speak to actual work despite his obvious wealth. You've seen darkness, Harper. You've lived through trauma and come out the other side. You understand that strength isn't about never being afraid. It's about being afraid, and doing what needs to be done anyway. His words sink into something deep inside me, a place that's been cold and empty for so long I'd forgotten it existed. But even as warmth begins to spread through my chest, doubt creeps in. I still don't understand why you chose me over Victoria. She's perfect. She's beautiful. Nathaniel interrupts. But when I looked at her, I felt nothing. No recognition, no pull, no sense of coming home. Then I saw you trying to disappear into that wall, and it was like being struck by lightning. He shifts closer, and I don't pull away. The mate bond isn't about perfection, Harper. It's about completion. 2 broken pieces that fit together to make something stronger than either could be alone. Before I can respond, his phone buzzes. He glances at it, and his expression hardens. "We have a problem," he says, showing me the screen. It's a text message with a photo attached. A picture of rogues moving through the forest outside town. The timestamp shows it was taken less than an hour ago. Ice forms in my stomach. How many? At least 6 that we can see. Could be more. Nathaniel is already standing, his earlier gentleness replaced by the cold efficiency of an alpha in crisis mode. I need to get you somewhere safe. What about Victoria? Aunt Sarah? My security team is already moving to secure them. He's typing rapidly on his phone, issuing orders with quick, concise messages. But you're coming with me. I'm not going anywhere with you. The words come out sharper than I intended, panic flaring at the thought of leaving my safe space. I'll be fine here. I'll lock the doors, keep the curtains closed. Harper. The command in his voice stops my rambling mid-sentence. Rogues don't attack randomly. They're here for a reason, and given the timing of their appearance, I'm betting that reason involves you. Me? That's ridiculous. I'm nobody. You're my mate. His eyes flash with something dangerous, which makes you a target. Every enemy I've made in 8 years of ruling will see you as a way to hurt me. The reality of what he's saying hits me like a physical blow. By claiming me publicly, Nathaniel has painted a target on my back. My quiet, invisible life is over, whether I want it to be or not. This is exactly why I didn't want this, I whisper, wrapping my arms around myself. I just wanted to be left alone. Nathaniel's expression softens, but his voice remains firm. I know, and I'm sorry, but hiding isn't an option anymore. The only way to keep you safe is to bring you into my world completely. Your world, I repeat numbly. Your pack, your territory, your rules. Yes, he doesn't try to sugarcoat it. My compound has security that would make the Secret Service jealous. You'd have your own suite, complete privacy when you need it, and time to decide if this bond between us is something you want to explore. There's something in his voice, a carefully controlled hope that tells me this matters to him more than he's letting on. That despite his power and his options, he wants me to choose him. What if I can't be what you need? The question comes out barely above a whisper. What if you're exactly what I need? He counters. Before I can respond, the lights go out. The apartment plunges into darkness so complete I can't see my own hand in front of my face. But I can hear everything. The sound of Nathaniel moving with predatory grace, the soft snick of a weapon being drawn, the almost imperceptible creak of someone moving on our fire escape. Stay behind me, Nathaniel orders, his voice barely audible. Whatever happens, don't make a sound. My heart hammers against my ribs as he positions himself between me and the living room window. In the darkness, I can smell the change in his scent. The civilized man being replaced by something wild and dangerous. A shadow moves past the window, then another. My breath catches in my throat as I realize they're not random rogues looking for trouble. They're organized, coordinated, hunting me. Nathaniel's phone vibrates once in his pocket. A signal from his security team, I hope. But we're too far from help, too exposed in my small apartment with its thin walls and multiple entry points. We need to move, he whispers. Can you shift? The question hits me like a slap. I haven't tried to shift since that night 7 years ago. Too afraid of what memories might surface if I let my wolf take control. But now, with danger closing in and nowhere to run, I realize I might not have a choice. I don't know, I admit. Try. We're going to need every advantage we can get. I close my eyes and reach for the part of myself I've kept locked away for so long. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, slowly, I feel her stirring. My wolf, cautious but alert, responding to the threat even as she responds to the powerful alpha beside me. For the first time in 7 years, I begin to change. The transformation hurts more than I remember, like forcing movement through muscles that have been frozen in place. But when it's finished, when I'm standing on 4 legs with enhanced senses flooding my brain, I feel something I haven't felt since the night my parents died. I feel alive. Nathaniel shifts beside me, his human form dissolving into something magnificent and terrifying. His wolf is huge, easily twice my size, with fur so black it seems to absorb light. His amber eyes glow in the darkness as he looks at me, and I see approval there, pride, something that might even be love. The window explodes inward in a shower of glass and wood. The hunt has begun. Chapter 5. Blood and Revelations. The rogues pour through the shattered window like a plague of shadows, their snarls filling our small apartment with promises of violence. In my wolf form, I can smell their hunger, their excitement at finding prey cornered and seemingly helpless. They have no idea what they're dealing with. Nathaniel moves like liquid death, his massive black form intercepting the first attacker before it can reach me. The rogue's scream cuts off abruptly as powerful jaws close around its throat, and the metallic scent of blood fills the air. But there are more, too many more. I press myself against the wall, every instinct screaming at me to flee, to find somewhere small and dark to hide until the danger passes. It's what I did 7 years ago. It's what kept me alive. But this time, I can't run. This time, Nathaniel is here, fighting for both of us. And I won't let him face this alone. My dormant wolf surges to life with a ferocity that surprises us both. 7 years of suppressed instincts explode outward as I launch myself at the rogue trying to flank Nathaniel. My teeth find purchase in its hindquarters, and it howls as we go down in a tangle of fur and fury. The rogue is bigger than me, stronger, but I have something it doesn't. desperation born of love, because that's what this is, I realize with crystal clarity as my jaws tear at its flesh. I love this impossible, commanding man who chose me over perfection, and I'll be damned if I let anyone take him from me. The rogue throws me off, sending me crashing into our coffee table. Pain explodes through my ribs, but I roll and come up snarling. Nathaniel appears beside me, blood matting his dark fur, amber eyes blazing with primal fury. "More coming," he growls in the wordless communication of pack bonds. "Too many. We leave. Now." He's right. I can hear them on the fire escape, in the hallway, probably surrounding the building. But there's something else in the air, something that makes my skin crawl with recognition. Even as my conscious mind rejects the possibility, I know that scent. The lead rogue steps through the broken window, and my world tilts off its axis. Even in wolf form, I recognize him. The scar running from his left eye to his jaw. The particular way he holds his head, cocked slightly to the right. The cruel intelligence in his pale eyes. Jackson Reeves, the rogue who murdered my parents, the rogue who was supposed to be dead. My vision goes red at the edges. 7 years of nightmares. 7 years of guilt and fear and broken sleep. All because of this creature standing in my living room like he owns it. Like he owned my childhood home the night he destroyed my family. Well. Jackson's mental voice slides through the pack bond like oil over water. Little Harper Sinclair. All grown up and playing house with the big bad Alpha King. Nathaniel's snarl vibrates through the floorboards, but I barely hear it over the roaring in my ears. This monster was supposed to be dead. Our pack hunters found bodies, brought back proof. How is he here? How is he alive? Surprised to see me, little wolf? Jackson's scarred face stretches into something that might have been a smile on a creature with more humanity. Your pack's hunters were thorough, I'll give them that. But they killed my lieutenants, not me. I've been waiting, watching, planning my revenge. Revenge for what? The words tear from my throat in a combination of growl and human speech that shouldn't be possible in wolf form. For existing. His pale eyes fix on mine with the same cold calculation I remember from my nightmares. Your bloodline should have died out generations ago. But your parents were stubborn, and now you're here, mated to the most powerful alpha on the continent. Do you have any idea what that makes you worth? Bloodline. The word echoes in my mind, bringing with it fragments of half-remembered conversations, whispered arguments between my parents late at night when they thought Victoria and I were asleep. What bloodline? I demand. But even as I ask, pieces are clicking together. The way other wolves sometimes looked at me growing up, like they were seeing something I couldn't. The way my parents always seemed nervous during pack gatherings, like they were waiting for someone to notice something they didn't want noticed. Jackson's laugh is like fingernails on a chalkboard. Oh, this is rich. They never told you, did they? Never explained why you were so special. Why certain wolves would pay anything to get their hands on you? Nathaniel moves closer, his massive form radiating protective fury. Whatever game you're playing ends now. No game, Your Majesty. Jackson's tone drips with mock respect. Just business. You see, Harper here isn't just any wolf. She's a moonweaver. Last of her line as far as we know. And moonweavers have very special abilities that make them incredibly valuable to the right buyers. Moonweaver. The word hits me like a physical blow, dragging up memories I didn't know I had. My mother's hands glowing silver in moonlight as she healed a wounded bird. My father warning me never to let anyone see when my eyes changed color during the full moon. Whispered stories about women who could walk between worlds, who could heal with a touch or kill with a thought. Stories I'd dismissed as fairy tales. That's impossible, I whisper. But even as I deny it, I can feel something stirring inside me. Something that's been sleeping, waiting, growing stronger since Nathaniel claimed me as his mate. Is it? Jackson tilts his head, studying me like a particularly interesting specimen. Haven't you noticed how easily you shifted tonight, after 7 years of being unable to? Haven't you wondered why the Alpha King recognized you instantly as his mate, despite having never met you before? The questions hit too close to home. I have wondered about those things, dismissed them as adrenaline and coincidence. But now, With Jackson's pale eyes boring into mine and strange power humming under my skin, dismissal becomes impossible. The mate bond between an alpha and a moonweaver is legendary, Jackson continues, his voice taking on an almost professorial tone. It creates a connection deeper than anything ordinary wolves can achieve. Power shared, multiplied, amplified beyond imagination, which is why certain interested parties are willing to pay handsomely for a mated pair. You want to sell us. Nathaniel's voice is deadly quiet, but I can feel his rage building like pressure behind a dam. Not sell. Auction. There's a difference. Jackson's grin shows too many teeth. You'd be amazed how much supernatural collectors will pay for a breeding pair of your caliber. The casual way he talks about it, about us like we're livestock to be traded, makes bile rise in my throat. But underneath the revulsion is something else. Power. Real, tangible power flowing through my veins like liquid fire. My eyes begin to glow. Not the typical gold of an angry wolf, but silver. Pure, moonlight silver that makes Jackson take an involuntary step backward. Fascinating, he breathes. It's starting to manifest. The new mate bond must be accelerating the process. What process? I demand, but I think I already know. The humming under my skin is getting stronger, responding to my emotional state. Around us, the other rogues whine and back away as if sensing something dangerous. You're awakening. Jackson's pale eyes gleam with avarice. Every moonweaver goes through it when they find their true mate. All that dormant power suddenly has a focus, a purpose. It's quite spectacular to witness. The apartment fills with silver light emanating from my body. I can feel Nathaniel's amazement and fierce pride through our bond. Can sense his own power rising to meet and complement mine. We're stronger together, just like he said. But the strength comes with a price. Pain explodes through my skull as images flood my consciousness. Not memories, but something else. Knowledge passed down through generations of women who shared my blood. I see my mother as a young woman, hands glowing as she healed a dying child. My grandmother, standing against a pack of rogues with nothing but moonlight and will. My great-grandmother, walking between the world of the living and the dead to bring back crucial information for her pack. All of them moonweavers. All of them hunted for their power. All of them dead, because someone wanted to own what they were. No, I whisper. But the word comes out with enough force to rattle the windows. I won't be anyone's prize. Jackson's grin falters as the silver light intensifies. Now, Harper, let's be reasonable. I don't let him finish. 7 years of suppressed rage, of guilt and fear and helplessness, pours out of me in a wave of pure power. The rogues closest to me simply crumple, overwhelmed by energy their minds can't process. Jackson staggers but remains standing, his scarred face twisting with a mixture of greed and fear. Magnificent, he gasps. Even better than I hoped. You'll fetch twice what I expected. But his confidence is cracking. He can feel it too. The way reality bends around me now, responding to emotions I'm barely keeping in check. For the first time in 7 years, I'm not the helpless girl hiding in a closet. I'm something else entirely. I'm dangerous. Nathaniel moves to my side, his massive wolf form solid and reassuring against my smaller frame. Through our bond, I feel his strength joining with mine, his unwavering support anchoring me to sanity as power threatens to consume everything in its path. Together, he says in the wordless language of mates. Together. I agree. Jackson realizes his mistake a moment too late. The silver light explodes outward, and the last thing I hear before everything goes white is his scream of rage and frustration. When the light fades, the apartment is empty except for Nathaniel and me. The rogues are gone. Not dead. I can sense them scattered across the city, confused and directionless without their leader's commands, but alive, which is more mercy than they showed my parents. Jackson, however, is nowhere to be found. Chapter 6. Betrayal and Separation. The compound Nathaniel brings me to is nothing like I expected. Instead of some fortress-like structure, it's a sprawling estate nestled in the mountains, all glass and stone that seems to grow from the landscape itself. Despite its beauty, I can barely appreciate it through the haze of exhaustion that follows my power awakening. You're safe here, Nathaniel says, as we step through the main entrance. His voice is gentle, but I can see the concern in his amber eyes. The transformation back to human form left me shaky and disoriented, like I've been running for hours without rest. "Victoria and Sarah?" I ask, accepting the oversized sweater someone hands me to replace my torn clothing. "Already secured. My team extracted them 20 minutes after the attack began." Nathaniel guides me through hallways lined with artwork that probably costs more than most people make in a lifetime. "They're in the East Wing, probably worried sick about you." Relief floods through me, followed immediately by guilt. My family is in danger because of what I am, because of secrets my parents took to their graves. The weight of it threatens to crush me. "I need to see them," I say, but Nathaniel shakes his head. "First, you need rest, and food, and answers." His tone brooks no argument. "There's someone here who can explain what's happening to you." He leads me to a library that rivals anything I've ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling shelves filled with books, both ancient and modern. Sitting in a leather chair near the fireplace is a woman who looks to be in her 60s, silver hair pulled back in an elegant bun, wearing simple jeans and a sweater that somehow look expensive. "Harper," she says, rising with fluid grace that speaks to supernatural heritage. "I'm Elena Ravencrest, Nathaniel's senior advisor and historian. I knew your mother." The casual way she drops this bombshell makes me stumble. Nathaniel's hand on my elbow keeps me upright as Elena continues speaking. "Catherine Moonweaver was my closest friend until the day she died." Elena's eyes are kind but sharp, missing nothing as she studies my face. "You look exactly like her at your age, except for your father's eyes." Moonweaver was her maiden name? I sink into the chair across from Elena, my mind reeling. She never told us. Never told anyone. She was protecting you. Both of you. Elena settles back into her seat. Moonweaver bloodlines have been hunted to near extinction for their abilities. Catherine thought if she hid what you were, kept you from manifesting early, you might be able to live normal lives. But I'm not normal, I whisper, thinking of the silver light that poured from my skin, the way reality itself seemed to bend to my will. What am I exactly? A bridge between worlds. Elena's voice carries the weight of old knowledge. Moonweavers can channel energies that other supernatural beings can't even perceive. Healing, protection, limited precognition, emotional manipulation on a scale that defies belief. In the hands of someone with proper training, those abilities can reshape the balance of power in our world. I think of Jackson's pale eyes, his talk of auctions and collectors. That's why they want me. That's why they've always wanted your kind. A Moonweaver under the right influence could tip wars, could make or break entire supernatural governments. Elena's expression grows grim. Your mother hoped that by keeping you ignorant, the bloodline would die out naturally. She never expected you to find a true mate, especially not one as powerful as Nathaniel. Nathaniel moves to stand behind my chair, his presence warm and reassuring. But there's tension in his shoulders that wasn't there before. "There's something else," he says quietly. "Jackson didn't just escape tonight. He took something with him." Elena nods grimly. "Show her." Nathaniel pulls out his phone, displaying a photo that makes my blood run cold. It's Victoria, but not as I last saw her. She's unconscious, zip-tied to a chair in what looks like an abandoned warehouse. There's a bruise on her left temple and blood on her lip. "When?" The word comes out as barely a whisper. 2 hours ago. My security team found Sarah locked in a supply closet, drugged but unharmed. Victoria was gone. Nathaniel's voice is carefully controlled, but I can feel his rage through our mate bond. There was a message. He shows me another photo, this one of words scrawled on the warehouse wall in what looks suspiciously like blood. "Trade yourself for the sister. Come alone. You have 24 hours. The phone slips from my numb fingers, clattering to the floor. He has her. That monster has my sister. Harper. Nathaniel kneels beside my chair, taking my hands in his. I have 36 of my best trackers combing the city. We'll find her. In 24 hours? I laugh, but it comes out broken. You said it yourself. Jackson's been planning this for years. He won't make the same mistakes twice. You're not going to that meeting. Nathaniel's voice carries absolute authority. I won't let him get his hands on both of you. Both of us? I stare at him in confusion. Elena clears her throat delicately. There's something else you should know about Moonweaver abilities. They're significantly amplified when paired with a true mate, especially an alpha of Nathaniel's caliber. Together, you two could level city blocks without breaking a sweat. The implications hit me like a freight train. Jackson doesn't just want me, he wants us. Both of us. Bonded and trained and completely under his control. The kind of weapon that could reshape the supernatural world according to his twisted vision. That's why you can't go to that meeting, Nathaniel says urgently. It's not about saving Victoria anymore. It's about preventing Jackson from getting his hands on power he could use to hurt thousands of innocent people. His words make logical sense, but they feel like ice in my veins. So we just abandon her? Let him kill my sister to protect some hypothetical future victims? That's not what I'm saying. It's exactly what you're saying. I surge to my feet, power crackling around me in silver sparks. Victoria is the only family I have left. She protected me for 7 years while I wallowed in my trauma. She gave up dating, social opportunities, probably her own chance at finding a mate, all to take care of her broken sister. And now you want me to let her die because it's strategically sound? The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees as my emotions spiral out of control. Books flutter on their shelves, and the windows rattle in their frames. Harper, please. Nathaniel reaches for me, but I step back. I understand how you feel. Do you? My voice echoes with power I can't control. Do you really? Because from where I'm standing, it sounds like you're choosing the greater good over the woman I love most in this world. Just like every other alpha who puts politics before people. The words hit him like a physical blow. I see it in the way his shoulders tense, the way his amber eyes flicker with hurt and anger. That's not fair. And you know it, isn't it? I'm spiraling now, 7 years of suppressed emotions combining with new power in ways that make the air itself seem to vibrate. You claimed me without asking, dragged me into your world without my consent, and now you're making decisions about my family's fate like I don't get a say in the matter. How exactly is that different from every other alpha who treats women like possessions? Because I love you. The words explode from him with enough force to shake dust from the ceiling beams. Because the thought of losing you terrifies me more than death itself. And if that makes me possessive and overbearing, then so be it. The raw emotion in his voice stops my spiral cold. In the sudden silence, I can hear both of us breathing hard, can smell the mixture of anger and desperation, and fear that clings to both our scents. You love me. I repeat numbly. Of course I love you. His voice is quieter now, but no less intense. I've loved you since the moment I saw you trying to disappear into that hotel wall. You're brave and stubborn and infuriating, and you make me want to be better than I am. But Harper, if Jackson gets his hands on both of us, he won't. The words come out with quiet certainty. Because I'm not stupid enough to walk into his trap unprepared. Nathaniel goes very still. What are you planning? Instead of answering, I turn to Elena. You said Moonweaver abilities include limited precognition. Can you teach me to use it? With proper training, yes. But Harper, it would take months to develop that skill safely. I don't have months. I have 22 hours. I meet her gaze steadily. And I have power I've never accessed before, amplified by a mate bond with one of the strongest alphas alive. Teach me whatever you can. Absolutely not. Nathaniel moves between Elena and me. I won't let you throw your life away on some half-trained suicide mission. You won't let me? The words come out dangerously quiet. I wasn't aware you owned me, Your Majesty. That's not... He stops, running his hands through his hair in frustration. Harper, please, be reasonable. Reasonable would be calling the police and letting humans handle this. Reasonable would be accepting that my sister is probably going to die no matter what I do. But I stopped being reasonable the moment Jackson Reeves walked back into my life. I can feel power building under my skin again, responding to my emotional state. Victoria saved me when I couldn't save myself. Now it's my turn. The standoff stretches between us. Two stubborn people who love each other, but can't agree on the most important decision either of us will ever make. Finally, Elena clears her throat. There might be another option, she says carefully, but it's dangerous, and it would require perfect coordination between all of us. What kind of option? Nathaniel demands. A tracker spell. If Harper can get close enough to Victoria to establish physical contact, I can create a magical link that would allow us to find them no matter where Jackson takes them. But it would mean Harper going to that meeting. No. Nathaniel's rejection is immediate and absolute. But I'm already nodding. How close do I need to get? Skin-to-skin contact for at least 30 seconds. And Harper. Elena's expression is grave. The spell will mark you as well. If something goes wrong, if Jackson manages to contain your power somehow, we might lose you both. Better than losing her for certain. I turn to face Nathaniel, seeing my own fear and desperation reflected in his amber eyes. This is the only way. No, it's not. There has to be another. He stops mid-sentence, his body going rigid as his phone buzzes. The screen shows an unknown number, and when he answers, Jackson's voice fills the room through the speaker. Hello again, Your Majesty. I trust you found my message. Let her go, Reeves. Nathaniel's voice is deadly calm. Your fight is with me. My fight is with what you represent. Alphas who think power gives them the right to hoard supernatural resources. Jackson's laugh is like nails on a chalkboard. But don't worry. I'm a reasonable man. Bring me the Moonweaver and the pretty blonde lives. Refuse, and well, let's just say Victoria has her sister's lovely eyes. It would be such a shame to put them out. The line goes dead, leaving us in suffocating silence. I don't give Nathaniel time to argue. Elena, teach me everything you can in the next 20 hours. We're getting my sister back. Chapter 7. The Silver Awakening. The warehouse district at midnight feels like stepping into the mouth of a beast. Shadows pool between buildings like spilled ink, and the air carries the metallic tang of rust and old violence. I stand at the designated meeting point, Pier 17, where Jackson murdered a security guard 3 hours ago just to make his point clear. 20 hours of intensive training with Elena have left me exhausted, but transformed. My hands still tingle with residual power from the crash course in Moonweaver abilities, and the tracker spell Elena embedded in my skin burns like a brand between my shoulder blades. Every breath tastes of silver and starlight. Remember, Nathaniel's voice crackles through the nearly invisible earpiece Elena crafted. 30 seconds of skin contact to activate the tracker. Don't try to be a hero. Easy for him to say. He's positioned a quarter-mile away with a strike team, close enough to respond but far enough to avoid triggering Jackson's paranoia. Meanwhile, I'm walking into the lion's den with nothing but untested magic and a desperate prayer. I see her, I whisper, spotting Victoria tied to a chair under a flickering streetlight. Even from 50 yards away, I can see the blood on her face, the way she slumps against her restraints. She's alive. For now. Jackson's voice echoes across the empty pier. He steps out of the shadows like something from my nightmares. Scarred face twisted in a smile that holds no warmth. But her continued health depends entirely on your cooperation, little Moonweaver. I force myself to walk steadily toward him. Every instinct screaming to run or fight or do anything except deliver myself into the hands of the monster who destroyed my family. But Victoria's life hangs in the balance, and that makes the choice simple. Let me see her first. I call out when I'm 30 feet away. Proof of life. Jackson chuckles and nods to someone I can't see. A bucket of water hits Victoria full in the face, and she jerks awake with a gasp that carries clearly across the water. Her blue eyes find mine, and I see relief and terror war across her features. Harper? Her voice is hoarse, probably from screaming. Don't do this. Please don't do this for me. Always so noble, Jackson muses, running a finger along the scar that mars his face. Just like your parents. They begged me to spare you girls, offered me anything I wanted if I'd just walk away. Touching, really. Rage builds in my chest like molten silver, but I force it down. Elena's training echoes in my mind. Emotion without control is just destruction. Power without purpose is meaningless. I need both if I'm going to save Victoria and survive what comes next. You got what you wanted, I say, stopping 10 feet from where Jackson waits. I'm here. Let her go. Oh, but I don't have what I want. Not yet. Jackson's pale eyes gleam with avarice. What I want is a breeding pair of supernatural royalty, trained and collared and ready to reshape the world according to my vision. One scared girl with untested abilities isn't quite the prize I was promised. The trap snaps shut around me as rogues emerge from hiding spots I should have sensed but somehow missed. Not ordinary rogues. These ones move with military precision, wearing gear that muffles their scents and dampens their supernatural signatures. Jackson has been planning this for longer than any of us realized. Surprised? Jackson's smile widens. 7 years is a long time to prepare, little wolf. Long enough to acquire resources, allies, technology specifically designed to contain supernatural abilities. Did you really think you could waltz in here with a few hours of training and save the day? One of the rogues produces a collar from his pack. Thick metal inscribed with symbols that make my eyes water to look at directly. Suppression runes, designed to cut a supernatural being off from their power completely. Put this on, and I'll consider letting your sister live long enough to watch what happens next. Harper, don't. Victoria's voice cracks with desperation. Whatever they want to do to me, it's better than what they'll do to both of us if you surrender. She's right, and we both know it. But knowing doesn't make the choice any easier. I can feel Nathaniel's rage through our mate bond, can sense him fighting every instinct to charge in here regardless of the tactical situation. Tick-tock, little moonweaver. Jackson dangles the collar like a carrot before a starving animal. My patience has limits. I take a step forward, then another. The runes on the collar seem to pulse with malevolent energy, eager to wrap around my throat and steal everything that makes me who I am. But with each step, I'm also getting closer to Victoria. Closer to the skin contact Elena needs for her tracker spell. That's it. Jackson purrs. Nice and easy. Don't try anything clever, or Sister Dearest gets a bullet between those pretty blue eyes. 5 feet. 4. 3. The collar waits in Jackson's outstretched hand, and I can feel its suppressive energy like ice against my skin. But I can also see Victoria clearly now, can smell her fear and her love and her absolute determination to protect me even from herself. 2 feet. 1. I lunge past Jackson, not for freedom, but for my sister. My hands find her face, skin contact burning like fire as Elena's spell activates. Victoria gasps, her eyes going wide as silver light races between us. 30 seconds. I whisper, holding her gaze. I need 30 seconds. Clever little bitch, Jackson snarls, but he doesn't try to stop me. Why would he? In his mind, I've just made myself easier to capture by getting within arm's reach. He has no idea what's really happening. The tracker spell tears through me like lightning, marking not just Victoria, but everyone she's been in contact with over the past 24 hours. Through Elena's magic, I suddenly know exactly where Jackson's base of operations is, how many rogues he has, what kind of supernatural dampening technology he's employing. But more than that, I can feel something else awakening. The contact with Victoria, combined with the emotional intensity of the moment, pushes my Moonweaver abilities past every limit Elena thought existed. Time slows. Reality bends. For one impossible moment, I can see every possible future branching out from this instant like silver threads in an endless web. In most of them, Victoria and I both die. In a few, one of us escapes while the other is captured. But there's one thread, shining brighter than all the rest, where something extraordinary happens. Where instead of being the victim in this scenario, I become something else entirely. I become the weapon. 15 seconds, I whisper to Victoria, my voice already changing as power builds to critical mass inside me. Harper, what's happening to you? Victoria's eyes widen as silver light begins to pour from my skin. Your eyes, they're completely silver. Jackson realizes something is wrong a moment too late. He lunges for the suppression collar, but I catch his wrist with one hand. The moment our skin makes contact, I can see inside his mind. Every plan, every ally, every backup location he's prepared. No, he gasps as silver energy races up his arm. That's impossible. The runes should prevent. Your runes were designed to suppress ordinary supernatural abilities, I say, my voice echoing with harmonics that shouldn't exist in human speech. I'm not ordinary. The power that explodes from me isn't destruction. It's transformation. Every rogue within 100 yards, suddenly finds themselves compelled to turn on each other, their enhanced loyalty to Jackson reversed in an instant. The suppression technology shorts out in cascades of sparks and smoke. And Jackson himself. Jackson experiences every moment of terror my parents felt as he murdered them. 7 years' worth of nightmares compressed into 30 seconds of absolute psychological torture. When I finally release him, he collapses, babbling incoherently about shadows and silver light and the faces of the dead. Harper. Victoria's voice cuts through the aftermath like an anchor to sanity. Harper, come back to me. I realize I'm floating 6 inches off the ground, surrounded by a cocoon of silver energy that makes the air itself shimmer like heat haze. With effort, I settle back onto the pier and let the power fade to manageable levels. Are you hurt? I ask, moving to untie Victoria's restraints. Just bruises and ego damage. She studies my face with the intensity only a sister can manage. But what about you? What just happened here? Before I can answer, Nathaniel's voice crackles through my earpiece. Strike team moving in, package secured, hostiles neutralized. Harper, are you? I'm fine, I interrupt, though I'm not sure that's entirely true. The power still hums under my skin like electricity, and I can feel reality bending around me in ways that should be impossible. Victoria grips my hand as we wait for extraction. You saved me. We saved each other. I squeeze her fingers, marveling at how solid and real she feels compared to the silver threads of possibility I can still perceive at the edges of my vision. That's what family does. Nathaniel arrives with his strike team, just as the police sirens begin wailing in the distance. His amber eyes find mine across the pier, and I see relief and pride and something that might be awe in their depths. But there's also concern, because we both know that what happened here tonight changes everything. The scared girl who worked in a library and hid from crowds is gone, replaced by something far more powerful and infinitely more dangerous. As Nathaniel pulls me into his arms, I catch a glimpse of Jackson being loaded into an ambulance, still mumbling about silver light and the voices of the dead. He's alive, but his mind is shattered beyond repair. Justice, after 7 years of nightmares. Is it over? Victoria asks softly. I close my eyes and let my enhanced senses spread outward, searching for any lingering threats. The future threads I can perceive show nothing but possibility and hope, at least for tonight. It's over, I confirm, but even as I say the words, I know they're not entirely true. This chapter of our story might be ending, but another is just beginning, and in that new chapter, I won't be running from what I am anymore. I'll be embracing it. Chapter 8. Crown of Silver and Stars. 3 months later, I stand in front of a mirror in what will soon be my permanent suite at Nathaniel's compound, adjusting a crown that feels both foreign and perfectly right on my head. The silver circlet is simple, but elegant, inscribed with moonweaver symbols Elena helped me understand. Today isn't just my wedding day. It's my coronation as Alpha Queen of the Silver Crown Pack. You look like Mom, Victoria says softly from behind me. She's radiant in her maid of honor dress, a soft blue that matches her eyes. The bruises from her kidnapping have long since faded, but there's a new strength in her posture that speaks to growth born from surviving trauma. Do I? I touch the necklace at my throat. Mom's necklace, the one thing of hers I managed to salvage from our destroyed apartment. I still dream about her sometimes. About both of them. Good dreams or nightmares? Victoria settles beside me on the small bench, a reflection showing 2 women who look more alike now than we ever did growing up. My newfound confidence has softened my sharper edges, while her recent experiences have given her a depth that was always there, but never tested. Good dreams, mostly. They're proud of us, I think, of who we've become. I smile, remembering last night's dream where Mom showed me how to braid moonweaver protection spells into my hair. Though I suspect Dad would have some choice words about me mating with an alpha king without his permission. Victoria laughs. He would have terrified Nathaniel with the shovel talk to end all shovel talks, but he would have approved. Even I can see how much that man loves you. Through the windows of my suite, I can see the ceremony preparations taking place in the gardens below. Members of 12 different packs have gathered to witness something unprecedented, the coronation of a moonweaver queen. Elena estimates there haven't been more than 3 in the last 500 years. Nervous? Victoria asks, watching me fidget with my dress. It's not the elaborate ball gown I expected, but something Elena designed specifically for the occasion. Flowing white silk that seems to capture and reflect moonlight even in daylight, with silver embroidery that tells the story of every moonweaver who came before me. Terrified, I admit. 3 months ago, I could barely handle a crowd of library patrons. Now I'm about to become responsible for the well-being of 3,000 pack members. You'll be amazing. Victoria's voice carries absolute certainty. You saved me, defeated Jackson, and you've already reformed half the antiquated laws governing supernatural politics. Plus, you have Nathaniel. That man would move mountains for you. She's not wrong. The changes we've implemented together over the past 3 months have been staggering. New laws protecting human mates, resources for trauma survivors, educational programs for packs who want to understand supernatural diversity. It turns out that having a queen who actually cares about the people she serves makes a significant difference. A knock at the door interrupts my spiraling thoughts. Come in. Nathaniel steps inside, and even after 3 months of seeing him daily, my breath still catches. He's devastating in his ceremonial alpha attire. Black silk shirt that emphasizes his broad shoulders, perfectly tailored pants, and a crown that makes him look every inch the king he is. But it's his eyes that capture me. Those amber depths that hold love and pride and something that might be reverence. You're supposed to wait until the ceremony to see me, I tease, though I make no move to send him away. Technically, this is a coronation, not a wedding. Different rules apply. His voice holds that familiar hint of amusement that never fails to make me smile. Besides, I brought you something. He pulls a small velvet box from his pocket, and my heart does something complicated. Nathaniel, you already gave me a ring. Several rings, actually. This isn't jewelry. He opens the box to reveal what looks like a seed, but one that pulses with gentle silver light. Elena found it in her research. It's from the last Moonweaver sanctuary, destroyed 3 centuries ago. She thought you might want to plant it here, start something new. The gesture is so thoughtful, so perfectly suited to who I am now rather than who I used to be, that tears prick my eyes. You want to grow a sanctuary. I want to give you the tools to build whatever you envision for our people. All our people. He sets the box carefully on my dresser. But first I want to marry my mate. Victoria clears her throat delicately. Should I leave you two alone for a few minutes? Actually, Nathaniel says, his expression growing serious, there's something I wanted to discuss with both of you. A proposition. My stomach tightens. In my experience, propositions from alphas tend to involve things I don't want to do. What kind of proposition? Elena's research uncovered something interesting about pack bonds and family connections. Apparently, when a Moonweaver becomes Alpha Queen, she can extend certain protections to her immediate family, including the ability to form a pack bond with a non-romantic connection. Victoria goes very still. What are you saying? I'm saying that if you want it, you could become part of our pack officially. Not through marriage or mating, but through the bond Harper and I share. You'd have all the benefits and protections that come with pack membership, plus your own territory within our lands to develop as you see fit. The offer hangs in the air between us. Victoria has been staying at the compound since her rescue, ostensibly for safety, but really because none of us wanted to be separated again. But I know she's been struggling with feeling like a guest in someone else's home, uncertain about her place in this new world we're building. There's more, Nathaniel continues. We've had inquiries from several young alphas about joining our pack. Apparently the idea of serving under a Moonweaver queen has captured some imaginations. One in particular, Marcus Wolfhart from the Northern Territories, has expressed specific interest in our pack dynamics. Victoria's cheeks flush pink. You've been matchmaking? I've been observing, Nathaniel corrects with a slight smile. And Marcus has excellent references. Plus, he's already proven he can hold his own against Moonweaver magic. Elena tested him herself. You had him tested? I stare at my mate in disbelief. When? Last week, when he came to discuss trade agreements. Elena may have accidentally on purpose triggered a minor precognitive episode while he was in the room. He handled it remarkably well. Victoria looks between us. Something like hope blooming in her expression. He handled it well how? He helped ground Elena when the visions became overwhelming, then spent the next hour asking intelligent questions about Moonweaver abilities and how he could better support supernatural diversity in his own pack. Nathaniel's approval is clear in his voice. Plus, he makes excellent coffee. That's important. I agree solemnly, earning myself a pillow to the face from Victoria. Stop ganging up on me, she protests, but she's smiling. Though I admit, Marcus seems interesting. Another knock at the door saves Victoria from further teasing. Elena enters without waiting for permission, looking harried but excited. It's time, she announces. The ceremony circles are complete, the witness bonds are in place, and if we don't start soon, some of the visiting alphas are going to start challenging each other out of boredom. My stomach drops. Already? Already. Nathaniel moves to offer me his arm. Ready to become a queen? The question should terrify me. 3 months ago, it would have sent me into a panic attack that lasted hours. But now, surrounded by the people I love most in the world, and facing a future full of possibilities I never dared imagine, I find myself smiling. Ready. The ceremony itself passes in a blur of silver light and ancient words. When Elena places the crown on my head and declares me Alpha Queen of the Silver Crown Pack, power flows through me like liquid starlight. But it's different from the wild, destructive energy I wielded against Jackson. This is controlled, purposeful, connected to every member of our pack in ways that make me feel less alone than I ever have in my life. Nathaniel's coronation follows immediately, the pack bond we share amplifying his already considerable authority until the very air seems to vibrate with power. When we turn to face our people, our pack, as equals, the roar of approval that goes up could probably be heard 3 counties away. And now, Elena announces, her voice carrying clearly across the assembled crowd, the binding ceremony. This is the part I've been most nervous about. Not the legal marriage. We handled that paperwork weeks ago. But the supernatural binding that will link Nathaniel and me permanently. No possibility of divorce, no option to walk away if things get difficult. For better or worse, we'll be connected until death. Second thoughts? Nathaniel murmurs, as Elena begins chanting in a language older than recorded history. Never, I whisper back. And I mean it. Though I reserve the right to remind you of this moment when you're being insufferably alpha-ish. Insufferably alpha-ish is part of my charm, if you say so. The binding itself feels like coming home. Silver threads of connection weave between us, strong enough to last lifetimes, but flexible enough to allow us both room to grow and change. I can feel Nathaniel's love, his pride, his absolute commitment to building a life worth living together. When Elena declares us bound in the eyes of moon and pack, the celebration that follows lasts until dawn. Victoria dances with Marcus Wolfheart until I lose count of the songs, and even Elena lets loose enough to join the younger pack members in what can only be described as supernatural karaoke. But the moment that matters most comes near sunrise, when Nathaniel and I slip away to the garden where we planted the moonweaver seed earlier that evening. Already, tiny silver shoots are pushing through the earth, eager to grow into something beautiful and strong. No regrets? Nathaniel asks, pulling me close as we watch the sun paint the sky in shades of rose and gold. I think about the scared girl who hid in library stacks and avoided crowds and believed she was too broken to deserve love. Then I think about the woman I've become. Powerful, confident, surrounded by people who value her for exactly who she is. Only that it took us so long to find each other, I say, leaning into his warmth. We found each other exactly when we were meant to, he replies, pressing a kiss to the top of my head. Everything before this was just preparation. Above us, the last stars fade as daylight takes hold, but I can still feel their light singing in my blood. I am Harper Sinclair Blackstone, Alpha Queen of the Silver Crown Pack, last daughter of the Moonweaver line, and the luckiest woman alive. The future stretches ahead of us, bright with possibility, and I can hardly wait to see what we'll build together.